chaperone who?
That's right. Step aside.
That's right.
Step aside.
The streets is back.
She let you have 2024, but now she's back.
The queen of the 2010s is in your ass.
Get out of here.
She about to snatch this decade and leave no crumbs. Hit the music.
I miss that chunky guitar.
Chunky.
That's right.
Stanky.
Hello, everybody. My name is Chibbi.
My name is Rooster.
And this is the Puro Pinche Podcast, where we talk about pop culture and politics with a puro Texas twist. It is
a new season.
A new day.
A new something.
A new dawn.
Sure.
A new outlook on life.
A golden age for America, apparently.
That's right. A new sense is what it is. It's a bit of a nuisance. Let's go. That took me a minute to get there.
No, you landed it. Unlike Tesla, SpaceX rockets, or actual airplanes.
That's right.
You landed it.
Look. Okay, so I just came back from Pennsylvania. I was there yesterday.
Boo, Pennsylvania, boo.
The last time I was there, actually, there was election night.
Yeah.
That was surreal. But so I just came back from Pennsylvania, and leading up to going to Pennsylvania, I was very cognizant of not speaking anything having to do with all of the airplane malfunctions that are going. I was like, I'm not. It's happening too much. I'm not even going to say the juju, right? Or anything like that, right? I'm just like, it's okay. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. And we are driving to the airport at 4 a.m. because
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and cheap flights. Driving to the airport at 4 a.m. and my husband's like, did you put your flight numbers in the, because I put a little calendar entry, right?
Yeah.
And, did you put your flight numbers in the calendar entry? And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, just because of all the things happening with planes going down. I was like, why would you say that?
Right. We got to make sure that whenever that unbreakable situation happens, that we know which flight to collect the remains from.
Say that?
And then there was even the successful one, like the one in Toronto or somewhere in Canada that it landed
upside down.
Upside down.
Yeah, I was like, this is straight up out of what was that Denzel Washington movie? Flight. This is straight up out of Flight. Was the pilot drunk?
I hope so. He was drunk and he's drunk now. Welcome back, everyone.
I know.
Hello, world. It's us again.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
We usually come back kind of like early February of sorts, because the Grammys was when we started this shit, and so around that time is when we come back because we have thoughts on the Grammys. But this year has been a very long year. It's been a lot so far, and
I'll be honest, I just didn't have nice things to say.
That's right.
I was like, you know what? No, I'm processing. I'm getting my shit together. I'm healing. I'm in my golden era.
And I was kind of like on a coastal mode of just like, I'm just going to put the bare minimum into life right now.
Yeah.
Right. Because anything more than that just feels overwhelming and exhausting. So
totally,
just kind of get through. But we've come together. It is now the 3rd month of the year.
We had even like texted each other for like 2-3 weeks about like, so we coming back? Like, yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah, we need to have a conversation. Cool, I'll call you. All right, I'll call you. And then it just never happened. Yeah. Again, bare minimum.
Yeah.
But
we're here now.
Here we are. And
we're taking care of ourselves because now we're actually just doing this twice a month.
That's right.
So we can have more to talk about and,
And we don't drive ourselves crazy.
Yes, because we're busy people. You're a busy person.
We are busy people.
Yes, you're doing a lot with the leather work.
That's right.
Gemini's leather.
So yes, that's been fun. For those of you that don't know.
Kinky leather daddy needs.
Taking up leather work as a hobby. But I do take custom orders. And then Gemini's Productions is expanding.
Yeah.
I've started producing a different pod, which I'm not releasing under Gemini's Productions, but they are recording in the Gemini's studio. But then I am starting a new pod with Deborah Deep Mouton.
Hey, round of applause for Deep.
Absolutely. I don't have that queued up, but... Did she recently get inducted to the
Texas
Letters? Yes, that's right. Along
Institute
with
of Letters.
Institute of Letters, Lupe Mendez.
Alexander Van de Kamp.
That's right.
I think Octavio
Quintanilla, you know.
I don't remember who else. I think KP Brookings.
No.
Okay. Maybe
I think those were the only four that I saw that I knew. But so she will be starting a new podcast on the channel for just kind of like daily affirmations, motivational messages, deep. It's going to be called Get Deep with Deborah Deep Mouton. And then I'm going to start another one that's very recovery focused, addiction and recovery focused. So that'll be starting later this year.
Cute.
As well. So got a lot going on, but let's just get right into it because as usual, we're going to start off with a nice segment we like to call Nope, You're Wrong. What you got for us, Roost?
So got a couple things here. First,
nope, you're wrong.
Right. Actually, yeah, I do kind of feel that. So this first one has to do with empathy.
Okay.
Empathy is bad.
Oh.
That's actually not my take, but it is a take that is going around heavy on the internet at present. And so I keep my ear to the Christo-fascist right-wing media.
Oh.
Just to make sure. You got to know what's going on. You got to know what's happening.
The Bruins.
I got tired of the surprises. January 6th, the
Should've
election.
Seen that coming.
Yeah.
Right.
So, it's like, did you not read the tea leaves? These are the tea leaves.
Okay.
So right now, one of the big movements, especially in a lot of Christian talk media that I find fascinating is this push that empathy is bad.
Okay.
Empathy, according to a lot of these pundits and thinkers, is sort of a destabilizing bad sort of idea. And let me explain.
Okay.
They say that sympathizing is fine. But empathy is why we have so many problems now.
Oh.
It's because when you empathize with others, how long does that last for?
Mm-hmm.
You empathize with them indefinitely. And now you're just caring about other people all the time. And you're not caring about the problems at home and this, that, and the third. And I'm going to just say, nope, they're wrong.
I'm going to say, actually, hot take.
Oh,
They're a little right.
Okay.
Uncontrollable empathy, I think, can be very overwhelming for people, right? There are certain people in this world, a few that I know, that just like feel so much empathy that they literally cannot focus on. Like they start worrying about somebody else. And when I say like somebody else, it's like I'm worried about that woman that I saw in the parking lot at H-E-B who looked like, like she had to walk home with her groceries. And now like what if she doesn't make it and like her family might be going through something or, like maybe she's going through something, right? And like now you're consumed.
That's called ADHD for me. No, I know what you mean. Like those empathic people.
Yeah, those empathic people that just feel everything for everyone so much that then they kind of put themselves to the side, right? And in a kind of codependent sort of way. Like I have to, help everyone else, but then they don't actually help themselves, right? So to an extent, I can see where like these right-wing media people took these isolated instances of empathy gone wild and now decided to blanket statement all empathy is bad because there's so much of it happening in the world, the way there are trans women everywhere beating men in men's sports. Yeah. Or something like that.
Or something.
The other way. I don't know which one, what way they're
winning
about.
Everything, apparently.
Apparently.
They're stealing our jobs.
Yeah, they're stealing our jobs.
They're taking our wives.
Exactly. So, so I can see how it was hyperbolized.
Sure. I think.
But I kind of, to a certain extent, it's like that there's, like, yes, feel for other people, right? Empathy is important, but it could go.
I think empathy
askew.
Can become performative at a certain point. And I think, this may be my hot take, I kind of low-key don't believe in empaths. I do kind of think it's like you mentioned codependency. Sometimes I think these are symptoms of people who due to their upbringing or whatever the case may be, they are informed in such a way to sort of be people pleasers, and so and a lot of times keyed in on the feelings and emotions of others before their own. And it doesn't mean that they're not empathic in that you can literally get that, but I feel like it's sort of become almost treated as like this like sixth sense, and it's like. No, it's a trauma response potentially.
It might be. It might be. But there are people that just that feel too much.
Yeah, and then there's those people like you mentioned.
And it's debilitating.
Sure, and sometimes too when it's someone like, oh my God, like I think about the woman who I saw carrying like 7 bags and she only had 2 arms. It's like you just might have ADHD.
All 3 can be true.
All 3 can be true. Yeah,
at the same time. Yeah. So empathy bad? No. Overwhelming empathy crippling? Sometimes.
Yeah.
Right-wing media losing its goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Next on Nope You're Wrong.
You got the air horn queued up?
I do.
It's spring break, bitch. It is spring fucking break. I am here for it. I'm happy for it. My Nope Are You Wrong on this one is, do we need to just already like codify spring break as a national thing?
Spring break for adults. Spring break for
adults.
everyone.
Spring break for everyone.
Spring break for everyone.
Let's just which kind of side note to tack onto that, and maybe this is an either or and I think we don't have enough national holidays. I think
14 is not enough. I think we're up to something like 14.
Are we?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Definitely not. There's 365 days, man.
Yeah.
We're not counting weekends.
So we need more than 1 a month.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
Twice a month.
Potentially.
Look,
or we need to just jam pack 3. Like let's say instead of spring break, rather you got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. Jam pack 3, right? And on top of the ones that we have. And that's money.
I think we need to just bring back the 4-day work week, right? Or implement the 4-day work week, right? And whether that's Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday, your call.
Your call.
Right? Or Wednesday through Saturday. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But I think the 4-day work week should be
Monday
a standard.
to Tuesday, Thursday, Friday work week is insane. I just want to know whoever has that is a psychopath.
Basically everyone who's ever worked in retail.
Probably. Yeah.
There was actually when I started working my nonprofit job, which is it's a make your own schedule kind of thing, but it's mostly Monday through Friday. We try to keep like normal business hours. The first like year, I told my boss, I was like, I can't do this. Okay. I need to work like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, be off Thursday, and then work like Friday, Saturday. I can't do 5 days in a row.
Right.
I've worked in retail for 10 years. I am not conditioned to work 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
I need one day, at least one day in between.
Yeah.
So that was a hard transition for me.
No, I was saying if we had the 4-day work week with the weekends and someone just did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday
you're off.
Thursday, Friday.
Nothing would ever get done.
Not a
Because on Thursday,
thing.
people would come back and be like, I don't know, I was off yesterday. And then on Friday, they'd be like, fuck it.
Yeah, it's like, I'm off tomorrow.
Nothing would ever get done. I am opposed to spring break for everyone if everyone gets the same week. It just feels like everywhere would just be way too crowded.
Okay, so we're kind of following like the university method where like some colleges have spring break this week.
Sure.
Okay, so everyone in the financial sector has this one.
Like let's
educators
just say in March, everyone gets a week. Maybe it's, like by the last letter of your
Social Security.
Last number of your Social Security or, like the first letter of your last name. I don't know, right? Find a way to break it up, but like,
okay. But do you think that there's mustard on this, that we need to have it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it would be chaos, but I'm actually more in favor of a 4-day week over
a spring break.
Okay. Because that would give us more days off.
Chibbi doesn't give a fuck about the people.
That's not
himself.
true. I want to give you 52 days off, not 5.
Whatever, man. Spring break rules. Hit that air horn. Another Nope You're Wrong, talking about empathy and how empathy is good.
I have no empathy for these people.
Okay. Should we feel any sort of, and it's not just the farmers, it's also the Venezuelans in Florida. Essentially these voters who voted with their heart or didn't vote.
Yeah.
It's now that the aftermath is.
I'm for the voters that voted and thought they were making the right choice. and now they're being hurt by their choices.
You're for them.
I'm not for them.
Oh, you're not for them.
I'm talking to them.
Okay.
I have zero empathy for them.
Okay. And then what about the non-voters?
The non-voters are circumstantial. You know, circumstantial.
Because we haven't potted really since
we potted. We had November and December pods, and I think we dove into it enough.
Okay.
If you're interested in knowing our takes on how we feel about the voters, just go back.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to it. We had a whole episode on Latinos for Trump.
Yeah. The thing I was going to mention was now that a lot more of the numbers are out, it's really just about not showing up.
Yeah.
And that's okay, cool.
It always is.
Yeah. And what's fascinating is the whole nope, you're wrong on this is that since the election and since a lot of these executive orders have been happening and the whole AI generated Trump Gaza Riata situation, a lot of voters are starting to either question their vote or completely do an about face on their vote. Farmers are really hurt right now because of the trade wars and tariffs. A lot of automakers are upset and Venezuelans in Florida who were told that they were safe from things like ICE raids and deportation are now being raided and deported. And they're like, why us?
Why me? Well, maybe the Venezuelans in Florida didn't vote because they can't. Fair. But yeah, I don't have empathy for them. I'm glad that they're now realizing that they made a mistake.
Sure.
You know, and coming to terms with the fact that he's just a big fucking liar. But we did tell you.
You cannot stress how much we told you.
How much we told you. And you just didn't want to listen.
Yeah.
So I am so sorry that your farm is now bankrupt, but you did it to yourself.
Really did.
You did it to yourself. The ones that I'm like, you know, it's circumstantial, you know, the non-voters, like if you did a protest vote because whatever, don't feel sorry.
I think if you did a protest vote in a swing state, fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you protest voted in Texas, fine. Like we weren't winning here.
Right.
Florida.
If you protest voted
New
in
York,
Mississippi.
Yeah. You know, whatever. But protest voting in Pennsylvania, Michigan, all those swing states that flipped, go fuck yourself.
Because just because like it just got worse for you. Whatever it is.
Which we said.
Yeah, whatever it is that you were protesting against of like, you know, Biden, Kamala, whoever not doing enough for you, it just got worse.
Right.
Significantly worse.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Because it went from things like America is kind of bootlicking Netanyahu bombing Gaza to
now deep throating.
Yeah, now we're just all the cock
cum guzzling
in the face.
Yes,
and you don't want that cock
taking a finger up the ass from Putin.
And good luck.
And you don't want it, you know, because sometimes a finger up the ass,
if you're into
you want, but in this case, you don't.
No.
You know, a broomstick or something. So yeah, that's
so violent.
However, my hope is that they don't forget this pain that they are feeling right now. There are some elections that just happened that show. I was going to save this for, you know, a quick hit of dopamine, but recent elections have shown that, you know, Democrats are not just winning, but outperforming by double-digit numbers the expectations. So
okay,
you know, maybe in a year and a half.
Well, here's one last nope, you're wrong. Democrats suck.
Totally.
Okay.
100%. It's still the lesser of two evils.
So
they have no spine. They have no spine. They have no platform.
That's not even the tea. That's just the water. That's just anyone can get that.
And they don't listen. And they straight up don't listen. I did hear a nice long conversation with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Whatever her name is. No, I know her name. And so there is a small faction of newer Democrats being like, hey. And the old guard is just like, what?
Right.
What? So, you know.
Maybe
don't make Chuck Schumer the face of the Democratic Party.
Sure. I think with that, well, I guess maybe this is questions more than statements, but I guess my question is, does this sort of is this proof that the two-party system, as flawed as it is, still requires so much more buy-in than we realize? Because just to kind of elaborate, the Republican Party showed us no matter how fractious it got, you fucking put your goddamn head down and you vote with this party because your interests are to be millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires. You care about those tax cuts. Fuck them kids. Fuck the poors. Fuck those minorities. Fuck the gays. Fuck women. Those. Fuck them.
Well, those people, those voters. But there's the
affluent ones.
Yeah, those are the affluent ones. But everybody else, that voted Republican, it's like you have one issue that's driving you or something.
Abortion. Yeah. Whatever. And so no matter what, even when Trump lost, I really thought to Joe Biden, and completely horn fucked the COVID response. I thought that the Republican Party might split between traditional Republicans and MAGA, and they never did. Because
traditional Republicans are just trying to ride the MAGA train to stay relevant.
We'll see, but now let's bring that same energy to the Dems.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, because there's a part of me in this timeline that we're in post-election where people are equally mad at that the Democrats are spineless, weak, not doing anything. And then I'm more on the side of there's nothing they can do. This is what was voted for. Like, they're following the rules. And whereas I think it's stupid, because the other team isn't playing by the rules. Yeah. I don't necessarily fault them for if you say I believe in democracy, you have to believe in democracy.
Sure, but there's still things that can be done. Take
such as
let's look at Representative Al Green at the recent.
Sure.
I mean, that's something. It's better than just sitting there and being like, okay, great, right? Like call a bitch on his bullshit.
But that's the thing is. Democrats.
If you don't know.
For those who don't know.
For those who don't know, Representative Al Green of Texas was like openly
But then he got censored
president.
even by Democrats for his behavior.
Because they're dumb.
Well, you know what was interesting? In doing some research for something,
the system has devolved, y'all. Just embrace the chaos.
Sure. Well, see, but that's I think this is the problem.
Lean into the chaos is what I'm saying.
No, because when all bets are off and all rules are invented to be broken, then it turns into sort of who's got the best might behind them, and we don't. Like, I'll just say that right now. Like, I'm not trying to go, toe to toe with most Republican ideas with what we got. And it's not to say primarily because we're so fractured ideologically on the left in a healthy way, not fractured because some of us are MAGA or some of us are, billionaire Republicans, but some of us have just more niche interests at heart, whether they be LGBTQ rights, whether it be Black Lives Matter, civil rights, whether it be immigration issues, like women's issues, all types of things. We're in our niches, and yet coming together is the hardest fucking thing for us to do. And so, yeah.
Because there are people out there that play the zero-sum game, right? It's either all or nothing, right? It's either everything my way or I'm out.
Right.
Which doesn't work. The problem is we have a two-party system is what it is. And Republicans have shown that they are not going to jeopardize the current stronghold that they have by splitting ideologically, even though within themselves they disagree significantly on issues, on tactics, on all of that, right? And if the Democrats were to do that, because it sounds like Democrats are more apt to be like, well, I actually don't believe in what you are proposing, right? And I'm not going to vote for you, right? Then they'd never win an election again.
Ever.
Because it'd be 50 to 25 to 25.
Exactly.
Essentially. So the system is fucked. Yeah. Embrace the chaos. Like, you're bringing a knife to a gunfight, right? Is what's currently happening. Democrats are bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Okay. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I guess more to the point, I think we're swimming in the aftermath, and people, it's like, I think this is also something indicative of America. And it's something I had a conversation with a work colleague of mine earlier today, where just kind of it turned into a work meeting eventually kind of just turned into a venting session about things, which was,
love it.
Yeah, it was great. And it's also awesome sometimes when like people you work with, you kind of come to see like, hey, you're one of the good guys. Thank you for showing me your cards, you know, and being on the good side of things. But one of the things that we were sort of talking about is this idea that America, you know, like whose pyramid is it? It's the pyramid of needs.
Yeah.
And how it's like at the very bottom, it's sort of the basics, food, water, blah, blah, blah. Like we as a country, I'm not saying there's not struggling people. I completely understand. But our struggling is still in the top 1% of the world.
Sure. Yes.
We should be in the self-actualization period. And probably should have been since 1980. Like 85, 90, somewhere in there. Whenever Nirvana dropped in your utero, that's when we should have been and had self-actualization. And just sort of rode that wave. This is when we should have all started getting into Kabbalah. You know what I mean? Naming all our children things like moon and dragon. And we did the thing that annoying rich kids do, where they intentionally like shun their privilege and make life harder on themselves. So to like feel cool or like one with struggle.
Yeah.
And it's annoying to like people who actually struggle, because it's like, you know, you can call your parents at any time. But it's also like, why are you doing this? Like, because then it becomes very and that's why I think we just cannibalize ourselves.
Yeah.
We just turn into this weird country of like picking fights for no reason. And sometimes the fights were literally like Colin Kaepernick is kneeling at the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
It's like, who the fuck cares, bro? It's one night of the week among how many games of the rest of your life.
Yeah. And how is it hurting you in any which way, shape, or form?
Same thing with the trans thing. When there's all these new laws that are coming. Gavin Newsom, fuck you, bro. He just came out on, of all things, the Charlie Kirk show, talking about like, yeah, I do agree that it's unfair to have male trans athletes in women's sports or whatever the fuck, because he doesn't know. Yeah. And I looked into this. I did the research. Apparently, out of like just professional or, you know, sporting in a school to college, you're talking about like less than 100 potentially total.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's from middle school through college. And you're talking about upwards of like 9 million to 10 million student athletes.
Like trans people already only make up less than 1% of the population. And now you're taking 1% of 1%.
Yeah.
And blowing it up into this huge deal. I did see this thing recently online where someone was like, oh, here's the clapback. The next time somebody is, you know, arguing a point about, you know, like, wanting to ban trans women from playing women's sports because they don't want men in women's sports. Name 10
trans athletes.
No. Name 10 female athletes.
Sure.
Name 10 female athletes. Yeah. I dare you. They can't, because they don't actually care about women's sports.
Right. They can't.
So, anyhow.
Nope, you're wrong.
Yeah, you're totally wrong. Is your camera still on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Then, nope, my internet is wrong. On that note, we're going to transition into a new segment because, okay, so a little backstory on this. Again, we talked at the top of the show how, you know, a lot's been going on. Shit's crazy. You know, we've been feeling a certain type of way. We're trying to protect our own energy and mental sanity amongst it. And so what we didn't want to do was come back and it just be an hour to 2 hours of just festering on all the bullshit that's happening and, you know, like reliving all of the craziness that's going on and whatnot. So we decided we're going to start a new segment, and it is called 15 Minutes for the Bullshit, or Shit That's Killing Me, where we're going to talk about the bullshit, all right, for like 15 minutes. And I kind of low-key want to set a timer, but We'll talk about it for 15 minutes, and then we're going to move on, y'all.
Go ahead.
Because otherwise, we'll go crazy. So,
Cook.
first up, 76 executive orders in the first 60 days. Kind of crazy. Actually, I forgot what the statistic was, but it was like the most executive orders of any president's, like, no president has issued this many executive orders in their first 100 days, let alone their first, 60, right? So some of the most noteworthy ones are renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit. Redefining gender based on assigned chromosomes at conception. That's my favorite part about this one. Is the fact that it's based on your chromosomes at conception. At conception, bitch, you just cells. You two cells. You nothing at conception. You not a gender. And I think scientifically, if you look at it, everyone is female at conception.
Yeah, I think you just have an anus at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
You are just an asshole.
You're just an asshole. So it makes no sense. They revoked prior AI policies. So have at it, AI. Take over the world. Did no one see The Matrix?
They legalized Skynet.
There we go. I don't get the reference. There we go. I was like, I lost that one. Setting a new direction to promote AI development without ideological constraints.
Great.
So, you wanted an unregulated market. Go.
Be free.
Here we come. Skynet, Terminator, Matrix, all of that. Rolling back DEI. Just in general, with blanket, just a Sharpie.
What is it? Whatever you want that day.
It's nothing. And
it could be a black 4-star general. Yeah. Get him out for a less qualified white general.
Again, the proof that this is just going at it with a Sharpie. There were things that were being struck from tax forms because they had the word inclusion.
Yeah.
When really they were talking about, please make sure that this includes the necessary paperwork or whatever.
With the inclusion of your W-2s.
They literally just Control F diversity and replace all with X, right? Is quite insane. Dismantling USAID, which is
a bitch move.
Dismantled and then not, and then yes, and then no, and then yes, and then no. The jury's still out on that one.
Right.
However, they did take down the emblem.
Yeah.
They, wiped the building clean.
It's not good.
Making English the official language of the USA. Therefore, making it
Buena suerte, putos.
Yeah. Essentially, translation need not be provided should you need it.
Sure.
Because now there is one language.
If all I'm going to say this is if you're someone who applauds for that shit, you best not be a K-pop fan or K-drama fan, any of that. Go fuck yourself.
That's right.
But you probably can't read anyway, so closed captions bother you.
Significantly expanding logging activities across 200 million acres of U.S. national forests and public lands.
Burn it down.
Fuck breathing. Fuck breathing.
Fuck national parks.
We don't need it.
Yeah. You don't see all that sexy wood shaking its ass. Should be, just lumber to use.
We'll see how all of these shake out in the courts because that's kind of what's happening right now. It's we're just going to sign a bunch of executive orders and then courts are going to be like, yeah, but you can't.
Yeah.
And then some will be litigated and repealed and some will not and some will see versions of it. But the damage is lasting.
Super.
And intense. All of this USAID shit and USDA. There was a news article that recently came out where they were like, oh, just kidding. You're rehired. Yep. And a lot of the people were like, I mean, yeah, I got my job back, but also for how long? Mm-hmm. And fuck you. So there's all that.
A lot of it, yeah.
Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns.
Just keep cooking.
All right, there's that. There's all that. Then my favorite, which affects us actually quite a bit here in Texas, San Antonio, South Texas, is the tariffs. No tariffs, tariffs, no tariffs, tariffs, no tariffs game that we've been playing. My dad works as a customs house broker, which means he has an import-export business. Hasn't been able to sleep.
Craziness.
My dad is almost 80 years old. Y'all need to stop stressing him out.
Leave the man alone.
Leave the man alone, okay? He just wants to do his job and get goods in and out of this country as we've been operating for so long. So the latest development is the tariffs went in place, but then they repealed a whole bunch of the tariffs that were, originally approved by the MCC Act.
Sure.
That was signed in Trump's last.
He's the one who designed it.
He designed it, and then he was like, just kidding. And then he was like, oh, actually, I guess, sure, we'll keep it. Because the auto industry was like, you're actually hurting us.
I saw a meme that said, it had a picture of Trump's, and it was like, 900% tariffs. All products are exempt. It's like,
that's the energy right now.
Yeah.
Canada is on the fuck around and find out train.
Shout out to them, Trudeau. I hope Trudeau stays.
They one Canadian company, a liquor company.
Yeah.
Day one, the tariffs were in place. They were like,
said, fuck out of here.
All American liquor, all American, alcoholic products off our shelves.
Fuck out of here.
Day one. All your beer, all your wine, all your spirits, gone. We will no longer carry it. Fuck you. We don't need it. Same thing. Claudia Sheinbaum, the new president of Mexico.
El presidente.
La presidente.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's right. It'll get some getting used to with a gendered language.
True.
Also came out and was like, you wanted a wall? All right, you will have a wall. We don't need Nike. We don't need Adidas. We definitely don't need Ford.
Yeah.
Well,
Adidas comes from Sweden.
Okay, just kidding. Nike was the one then. We'll buy Adidas over Nike, right? What you don't see is there are not 7 billion people south of your border. There are 7 billion consumers. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get none of this.
Yeah. There's 7 billion people in Mexico?
Something like that. It's a lot.
No, there's only 6 billion
people.
No,
70 million?
Let's do it.
70 million?
I have a feeling like...
Alexa, what is the population of Mexico?
In 2024, the population of Mexico was 129 million people.
There we go.
There's 7 billion people in the world.
Yeah, there's more of us here, but you also have... people don't understand that, Mexico City is the largest city on this side of the
world, yes. Yeah. Behind Tokyo.
And then, but they also don't understand that the population of Latin America is larger than the United States. Mm-hmm. And you fuck around and find out, they're all going to just say, go fuck yourself.
So it's been a whirlwind. Our head is spinning. The bullshit continues. We'll try and keep you informed as much as possible.
But this shit is killing us.
So that's all the time we're going to spend on that, because by the time this airs, 15 more things will have already happened.
Maybe the trade wars ended. Maybe World War III started.
It could go either way. It could go either way. There might have been another assassination attempt. Who knows?
Who knows?
Because the bullshit continues, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday about how this feels like cognitive dissonance, where it's the bullshit is happening, but also the Oscars. And you're right, it does. Welcome to 2025, people. In case you missed it, other things were happening in the world, right? So the Oscars happened this past week.
Yeah,
you didn't watch.
No,
we did
had
watch.
Zero investment in 90% of what was nominated this year.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to know what I cared about last year in films, go listen to the Underrated Favorites pod.
That's right.
Also on Gemini's production, we did something unique. We came up with the Underrated Favorite Awards.
The Oofies.
The Oofies.
No, the Oofs. The Oofs.
For
the Oofs. For the Oofies.
Yeah, for the Oofies. So go check that out to know what movies I like. But as far as the Oscars, they're really... Nora, I still need to watch. I'm sure it's a fine movie. And you saw it.
I did. I saw most of the movies. The ones that I didn't get to see were Sing Sing, Nickel Boys, and the Brutalist. Those were the 3.
Yeah, Sing Sing is still up there as one I want to see. I'm probably going to see the Brutalist eventually. But what is Anora a movie that's going to stay with you?
It was. I'll tell you this. It took a minute to go.
Sure.
But when it goed.
What was your favorite movie of 2024?
That's a hard one. I don't pick favorites. That's my problem.
Or 3.
Yeah, you hated it, but I loved Nosferatu.
Sure. Nosferboner.
I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, but the substance went hard. as ridiculous as it got in certain moments, I still like thoroughly enjoyed the mind fuck that it was. Nora was great, actually. It really was. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Trying to think what else we watched.
I feel like there was something you saw that you were really championing that I forgot.
If you want to know how I felt about Emilia Perez, go listen to the episode of Underrated Favorites.
Did it win an award? Yes, it did.
It did win a award. And you know what? She was great.
Okay.
Because she's pretty great.
Great.
You know? Zoe Saldana, always welcome on the pod.
Love Zoe.
You know, you're great. And you did great things.
Yeah.
That movie, though, was ass. And you can hear about it. But yeah, I watched most of the Oscars.
Right.
Because Hulu dropped the motherfucking ball.
Did they now?
Left and right.
Wow.
Did you not hear about this?
No.
Okay. So Hulu decided to stream the Oscars, right? Because streaming platforms are trying to replace live TV.
Yes, they are. Shout out to Netflix.
Netflix doing the Super Bowl games,
Doing the wrestling now.
doing the
Stand-up
fight,
comedy,
right?
yep.
The fight from last year was kind of like their, I think, pilot into it, and they were like, there was some touch and go moments. The World Cup is coming to streaming next year, not this year. I think.
HBO Max, you can stream basketball games.
That's
from time to
right.
time.
So they're trying. So Hulu was like, we got the Oscars. They did not.
They did not.
They did not.
They said who, what?
At launch, across the board, people were having trouble getting the stream to start. It just was not working. There's something wrong with your Hulu was what was going on left and right. And that's what happened to us.
Damn.
We were over at the homies JR and Pinto's house.
Shout out to y'all.
Always welcome to the pod. They've been on it. And it just wasn't working. It straight up was not working. And, you know, like JR was trying to log on and it wasn't letting him. And I was like, well, we'll try mine. Maybe it's your login. I don't know.
Maybe you ain't paying your Hulu.
Who knows?
JR.
It wasn't working.
You're a teacher.
At all. He ended up doing the thing where you like subscribe to like ABC for like a 7-day trial. And
Right.
So you can get it. And ABC worked. And so we saw most of it. We missed the first 30 minutes of it. And then Hulu ended the broadcast
Early?
right after Best Actress was announced.
Damn. Hulu, you shit in the bed, bro.
Not for everyone, but a large swath of people got the message, thank you for watching. The broadcast has now ended. And they missed Mikey Madison's speech. Spoiler alert, she won. And they missed Best Picture. Didn't see that. So Hulu, you know.
You're fired.
Just, in case you didn't know, the Oscars happened on Sunday. Yeah, should have been prepared. So that was hysterical. Honora did take the cake, winning Best Director, Best Picture, Best Actress, which, thoughts?
Who else was nominated?
Demi Moore.
But who else besides? I don't think Demi should have got it.
Really?
No.
You saw The Substance.
I did.
Okay.
I'm not saying that she didn't do a tremendous job. She did, but who else was nominated?
Cynthia Erivo, which I kind of knew she wasn't going to get it for this. I think she'll get it maybe for part 2.
Part 2, probably.
Yeah. I forgot who else. I really did.
That's fine.
I thought it was going to go to Demi.
I see, but this is where I kind of struggled this year with the Oscars and just the big major films. Was I felt like most of them just were like that. Like, wait, which one was that? Like, unless like Wicked was supposed to be huge, and like for its fans, it did great. But I don't even know if it was bigger than Twisters in the minds of like most moviegoers.
Actually, no, it was.
No, time out. You do this and you're wrong. Nope, you're wrong. What it is you get real close to the folks who like it, and y'all are intense.
No. I'm
y'all
talking,
be like, this is everywhere, and it's like, I swear.
I'm talking box office numbers.
Because y'all saw it 9 times. I'm not. Yes, you're right.
Twice. Twice.
Yes, but I know folks who saw it at least 3-4 times.
Just so you know.
No, for sure. Like, yeah, but it's like, and I'm not saying you're right. It could actually have been like a lot bigger. But I think like I know more people who did just go to the movies and watch Twisters than saw Wicked.
But that doesn't make it a good movie.
Totally. Not disagreeing with you. But I think last year, like, not for nothing, like the underrated favorites that stood out to me are the movies that most people didn't catch. But
that's right.
They actually, I think, were not better, but more memorable. Like, I saw the TV Glow was memorable. Like, I
still want to watch it.
I really like that film. Again, what it's about and the pacing. There's better films, I'm not gonna lie, but like it's a gorgeous movie to watch. It's like some tremendous acting, and like it's so haunting. Like the thing the director does so well, and ever since their first movie, We're All Going to the World's Fair, also on HBO if anyone wants to check that out. What they capture so well is sort of something that I think is hard to do, which is just having a single actor where you're just seeing them go through like grief, and not overacting grief, but sort of like the way sort of everything almost becomes like tactile when you're in pain. Like the world around you feels like it hurts. And it's just like they capture that so well on film where you're like, fuck, like I just feel like what this person's going through and the alienation and all this other shit. But like as far as the story, like, yeah, it gets a little weird and not really captivating. But the majority, like, fuck, I mean, Wicked, okay, great.
Yeah, I didn't think Wicked was going to win much outside of production awards, which it didn't. It won production awards, but some of the other movies, I will say for Best Actor, it's kind of it's been said that Coleman Domingo was snubbed.
I could see that.
I think Coleman Domingo is one of the best living actors right now. I'm just putting that out
Frances Fernanda Torres was also nominated.
Yeah.
Did they only have 4 nominees?
They had and
Mickey Madison. That's right.
And Carla Sofia Gascon, which was never going to win because of the controversy. So there's that. But yeah, so there was all of that going on. Other surprises or snubs that happened.
How do we feel about homeboy Rory Culkin?
Rory Culkin. I think...
Because that's another one where I feel like he's winning, but he's winning... I think it's residual from Succession.
Well...
Because I don't know one person who saw that film.
We did.
Oh, okay. You're the one.
It was a good movie. It was a really good movie.
Okay.
You talk about, like grief, right?
Is it like another movie? Did you ever see Sideways?
No.
Or did you ever see, what was that one movie? Little Miss Sunshine?
I did. It's not like that. Well, it's a bit dark. It's dark humor. I thought he did a really good job of... Because I do think that he's been kind of on this kick where like everything is a version of his character from Succession, but I just think that's just who he is.
Right. And I mean, it's charming as shit.
Yeah. This one, I felt he stretched, right? And there was a lot more of that kind of like grief and masking of grief and unprocessed grief that, like doesn't show itself in some of the other characters that he's played. Right. So I thought he did a really good job. It was a great movie. It wasn't phenomenal and like amazing and like the best thing I've ever seen or anything like that, but like it was a good watch, and it was an interesting story, and I thought he did a good job. Who was he up against? Yura? No. Edward Norton? No. Guy Pearce? No. Jeremy Strong? No. Yeah, he definitely won in that category.
What was Jeremy Strong nominated for?
The Apprentice. He played Roy Cohn.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Still haven't seen that one though.
Again, but that's like one would think that a film starring Sebastian Stan, who I think is kind of underrated.
Yeah.
Like, I actually really do think he's a much better actor because we just see him as the Winter Soldier and like everything.
He does such a good job.
Well, and he also does some weird movies. If you want a horror movie recommendation where he's awesome, look at the movie Fresh.
Okay.
It's out there.
Okay.
I can't tell you about it without spoiling it. But I think going back to what I was saying originally, like you would think a film about Donald Trump and The Apprentice, starring Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong, like that would take some sort of like huge leap to the forefront, and yet it's just also like I don't know many people who saw it.
You didn't get a whole lot.
It just felt like
I will say I'm glad that Timothée Chalamet didn't win.
For what?
For Complete Unknown.
Okay, he wasn't nominated for Dune too?
No.
Okay.
He was nominated for A Complete Unknown. He did take home the Screen Actors Guild Award for A Complete Unknown, and that led me to worry. Because, I mean, he's kind of a douche.
You think?
So this was his, like, acceptance speech at the Screen Actors Guild Award. It was basically, I know I'm supposed to be humble, but
I worked for
this.
But
I worked 5 years on this movie, and I know people aren't supposed to say things like this, but like, I want to be one of the greats. I want to be Muhammad Ali. I want to be, whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, dude.
You still look like you're 12 years old.
Yeah, and calm the fuck down.
And that little baby wispy mustache of yours ain't full of shit.
Yeah, just say that in an interview, not in your fucking acceptance speech.
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of a douche. I think, if he wasn't such a douche, I'd be more on, like, he did a good job, right? Like, I enjoyed the movie.
You saw it?
I did.
Okay. Were you a Bob Dylan fan?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me too. But because I'm a Bob Dylan fan, that's why I don't want to watch it.
I've
makes
heard that
sense.
from a number of Bob Dylan fans, actually.
Yeah.
So I thought it was fine. I didn't think, it wasn't Joaquin Phoenix and Walk the Line.
No.
Is what I'm saying.
Got it.
So there's that. Yeah. Okay. Great. Nosferatu did make an appearance at the Oscars.
With his balls out?
The literal.
should've.
No, the literal.
Oh.
I think the man won for best original score.
Oh.
And I think it was for Dune.
Okay.
I forgot what movie he was tied to.
Uh-huh.
But if you look him up,
He looks like Nosferatu.
1000%.
Hey, good for him.
Best.
He's having a moment then, because so is
Best
Nosferatu.
original score winner. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, images here. Look at this. Look at this Nosferatu looking
mofo.
motherfucker.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Like straight up, and he's like 7 feet tall, and he walks like this. Like everyone was like, Nosferatu made an appearance at the Oscars.
That.
It was hysterical. It was a whole moment. I forgot what he won for. Oh, for The Brutalist. Okay.
Oh, okay.
There we go. All right, moving on. Also, in case you missed it, just because it's present in my life, John Cena turns heel at the end of his career, which apparently is a big thing. You have been more of a follower of wrestling
I have.
on and off for the past
From like the last 3-4 years.
3 or 4, but you were aware.
Yeah.
I kind of dropped off in like 2001.
Just starting to make a comeback.
Yeah. So for the listeners, please set the scene with John Cena.
John.
Who is and why is this such a big? Yeah.
Yeah. First, how aware of John Cena are you?
I mean, I know it took a while for him to like hit, and then he hit, and then he's always kind of been this like fan favorite. He's also like a really good person, like in real life. I think he has like the most Make-A-Wish Foundation,
like a world record level thing.
And he makes these movies where he's kind of
he's self-aware.
He's a lovable guy.
Yeah,
he's a lovable guy.
I don't know if this is a hot take, and if it is a hot take, y'all DM us on our social media. He might be bigger than Hulk Hogan. Like in his prime. I
think so.
Because whereas Hulk Hogan sort of captured the America, eat your Wheaties and breakfast zeitgeist, there was still that like, this is a caricature of a person, and we kind of knew that. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. John Cena, while he was like, saluting the troops and all this, like, he kind of really embodied that. Okay. And to where it doesn't, and to him being a good person and sort of apolitical in a way. Sure.
He's Sweden.
He loves America. Yeah, it's just, but he loves fucking America. He's all about the children, and the kids loved him, and he was the perfect PG-13 wrestler. Yeah.
I think PG-13 might even be stretching.
Be too high. Yeah. He might be PG.
Yeah.
Tops.
Walking around in like his open baseball jersey and his Jinko jean shorts and his baseball caps. Right. And has he been a face his entire career? His entire career. Wow.
Yeah, he never was really like the bad guy. Okay. He just was sort of, and I mean, I'll give credit where credit's due. He was not my cup of tea. Sure. But there is something about him that connected with fans, because when you have like a Roman Reigns or a Batista back in the day, or a Triple H, for instance, there's a part of this where it's kind of like, bro, you're kind of taking your shit too serious. And John Cena is kind of like, that was his thing a little bit. It was like, yes, I'm taking this serious, but I'm me. I'm just being me. Yeah, and you're being the game. Yeah. Like, the game of what? Like you're a 48-year-old man spitting water bottles, 300 nights a year. And so that was kind of refreshing. And then when they got into what they later called the ruthless aggression era, where you started to get more, or no, it wasn't that. It was the realness era, where it kind of then started to lean into these like wrestling started to see superstars who their whole shtick was, I love wrestling and I want to be the best wrestler. And so that's where you had like your CM Punks and your Daniel Bryans and these guys who just like would not look like traditional wrestlers back in the day.
Yeah.
But they're connecting with fans.
Yeah.
They're really all about sort of we know that this is an interactive relationship. And John Cena was still very much the guy.
Yeah.
And then he got old and he started doing movies, and I think he's up there as one of the better wrestling actors, and still always a good guy in most of the things he's in. And he can take the joke, unlike The Rock, who, took Black Adam too serious.
It
and
was not good.
So bad.
Although, on a side note, it did have one of the best like post-credits scenes that like set up the next movie,
Right.
that we will never get.
Ever.
So,
But the other side to it, I think, adding to his heel turn, his turn to bad, that kind of connected was him and The Rock did always sort of feud on The Rock coming back to wrestling, sort of and John highlighting like, oh, you're here because your movies aren't hitting anymore like they used to, right? Dwayne, like, are you The Rock now or are you Dwayne? And The Rock finding this new. The Rock is kind of back.
yes, he's very back.
Yeah,
He's not kind of back.
Yeah,
He is back.
He has heat. I'll give credit.
He is the final boss.
Because when he first came back, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times when The Rock was coming back to fight Hulk Hogan and shit, even still, and I know people will point like that was one of the best wrestling. It's like, dude, Hulk Hogan's a million years old.
Yeah.
And The Rock would beat the fucking brakes off of Hulk Hogan, even in his prime.
Sure.
But my point is to see. So for the listener, all of that. Welcome to wrestling,
Yes.
and welcome to the era of bad John Cena.
So what happened? I'll pick it up from here because this is where I basically saw the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix and War Games, and I was
Yeah,
like,
man.
I didn't realize I had access to all these what they're now calling premium live events, not pay-per-view events because they're on Peacock.
Yeah.
I was like, I have access to all premium live events, and now Netflix is on. Now Raw's on Netflix.
Yeah, man.
Fuck it. Why not?
Tap back in.
I need something. These are my soaps. Okay. This is the way you watch $1 Million Listing. This is how I'm going to watch.
That's how you relax. That's how you kick back and you watch grown men throw at each other around.
That's right. And some of these grown men are real homoerotic. But so I started watching, and apparently last WrestleMania, John Cena comes back.
He did.
John Cena made a return and helped Cody Rhodes win the championship.
Right.
And then a few months after
By
that,
beating up The Rock.
well, he tried to beat up The Rock, but The Rock
running
bottomed
him off,
him.
yeah.
He who did he run off? He ran off whoever was helping.
One of the Usos or something like that.
Solo. That's who it was. He attitude adjustments Solo Sikoa into the announcer's table, even in the playing field. The Rock comes on, they like stare at each other, and then the Rock bottoms him, and then the Undertaker comes back and choke slams him. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But he came back. And then a little while after that, he announced he is retiring. This is his last year, and he's going on this retirement tour.
Yeah.
And so he was going to win the Royal Rumble because he's going to WrestleMania one last time to become the 17-time world heavyweight champion. He doesn't win the Royal Rumble. And if we're being honest, right, if we were reading the tea leaves, that's when he started going a little crazy.
Yeah.
He did this like press conference right after Royal Rumble where he was like, I'm going to do what's best for business.
That's right.
And what's best for business is that I headline WrestleMania. So I'm going to be in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Didn't even have to qualify. He's just in. He goes on. He wins the Elimination Chamber by basically knocking out CM Punk.
Yeah.
After CM Punk was stomped into the steel by Seth Rollins.
Seth freaking
After
Rollins.
Seth had been eliminated. And it's hysterical too, because you see like John Cena like see the opportunity and he just pulls CM Punk back and puts him in the STFU. And while he's like choking him out, he's like screaming, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And you could tell like he doesn't want to be a bad guy, but you know, he wants to go to WrestleMania. So he wins. And Cody Rhodes comes out. And because a few weeks ago, The Rock says that I want your soul to Cody Rhodes. And I'm like, is this 1998 Undertaker? What is going on here?
It's the return of the corporation. You remember? It's what it is. And it's because now that The Rock's on the board,
yes,
he can play the Vince McMahon role, which is now open. And Triple H is not a good Vince McMahon. He's a great Triple H always.
Yeah.
And you kind of need to have leadership at the top who's not
just
in it in there.
Go, be the executive producer.
Yeah, go do your job.
So,
Paul Levesque.
So that's coming back. And then Cody Rhodes basically says, go fuck yourself. Like literally says, go fuck yourself to The Rock. And John Cena's like, oh my God, that's right, that's right, that's right. And then he like hugs Cody Rhodes and The Rock gives him this like slit the throat moment. And you see his face just go, this is where the acting has really paid off. You see his face just go serious and he hits him in the nuts. He hits Cody Rhodes in the nuts and then they beat the fuck out of him and John Cena turns heel and children are crying.
Yeah. Grown men are crying.
Grown men are crying. Everyone has lost their shit. And we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah.
We will keep you abreast, listeners, because I'm watching wrestling now.
Just kind of brief aside, but also wonderful. Io Sky beat Rhea Ripley.
Io Sky beat in epic proportions. It was so good.
Yeah, I am an Io Sky fan. I love Rhea Ripley, but
she can't cut a promo to save her life. But
Io Sky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. But damn, does she hit a fucking elbow drop that's just crispy
and a moonsault? That match was so good.
That was a good one.
It was actually that Raw was a really good Raw. Every match was like a title match, and they all were fantastic.
Which I'm glad they did because that's how it used to be back in the day. Where it's like, dude, use the Raw, like get people out.
Raise the stakes.
Yeah, like so what? Like if the champ has some losses, it's because the beef's not over.
Yeah, Mankind won the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw. Like, lest ye forget.
Yeah.
Shout out to the homie Chris, both homies Chris's actually, homie Chris, Baby Rooster, and homie Chris Ortiz, who keep us abreast of the wrestling things.
Yeah.
Which now I am watching. And there we go.
He's back, y'all, just like The Rock, the final boss.
That's right. I'm back. WWE 2K25 just launched. I definitely pre-ordered it, and I've been playing it all day, and this is my break from video games, is recording this pod for you, the listeners. So let us know if you want to hear more or if you don't.
Yeah.
Shout out to the core, who's going to be really excited about this this segment. Also, in case you missed it, measles in Texas.
You know what? Fuck around and find out. I mean, so apparently it's a Mennonite community.
Oh.
That's really affected by this.
Okay,
and
the unvaccinated up in Lubbock?
Basically,
the Lubbock area?
Super West Texas. I think the last count was upward almost 200, but we're still in the hundreds of measles. I think officially one death, potentially two. Mostly children, so that's very unfortunate. And is RFK Jr. going to do anything about it? Probably not.
And could have spread to Central and South Texas.
There was one confirmed case here in San Antonio.
So it did.
And one in Austin.
And we know how it happened.
Yeah. Someone made out with a Mennonite.
I know how it happened.
Oh, really?
Yes. There is a
This is tea?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a conference that happens in San Antonio every year called TMEA. For Texas, I think it stands for Texas Music Educators Association.
All right.
And one of the
attendees
came from there and was the one that did all of this touristy sightseeing that has now spread.
Way to be a dick, Brad.
TMEA, music teachers responsible for the spread of measles.
Yeah. No. Now we know.
Now we know. So
what else?
So stay vaccinated, y'all.
Please and thank you.
If you don't know, if you weren't vaccinated as a child and you don't know, or you just don't know if you were, just get vaccinated again. It doesn't hurt. It really doesn't. And if you're old, get vaccinated again, just in case.
Yeah.
Anywho, speaking of teachers, anonymous teacher tips. Roost.
Did you hear about this? The Department of Education's website now has a portal for people to basically snitch out their teachers.
Oh.
If they do anything and teach lessons that have anything to do with DEI or wokeness. Oh. And, you know, what kind of fucking Gestapo bullshit is this, man?
I know.
How far reaching that goes, like, I don't know if they can go to college professors or, you know, I mean, we teach in a public state public run
You get
institution.
federal funding?
Probably. Yeah, I would imagine yes. As well as, but it's just, again, more terrible things.
More terrible things. Sorry about that, people.
I'm just saying, if people decide to go on there and flood it with some bullshit to shut down their system like Hulu.
There was another
site that
it was the immigration site, right?
Yeah,
ICE. It was
crash it.
ICE, where it was like, let us know if you see illegal immigrants, and it was just flooded by trolls that they had to close it down. So, internet, we see you, we see you, we see you.
Mm-hmm.
Go do what you do, internet, because you do some pretty cool things.
Yeah.
But Crypto Cash USA,
This is also bad.
ain't one of them. I know. Please fill us in.
For the listeners who do not know, where to begin? I'll start with this. First,
Trump launched a meme coin on the eve of his election.
yes.
But we can begin before then.
It's so fucked up because you can go back to last year when Trump called crypto a scam. Like, he used to say this was a scam and that it was useless and no good. And now that he's buddies with tech bros and Elon and whatever, he's completely done a 180 on it. But ultimately, he recently signed an executive order saying that he wants to create a cryptocurrency Federal Reserve.
Oh, yes.
And this is bad, people.
This is very bad.
This is very bad.
The silver lining on this is that people on both sides of the aisle are saying this is bad.
If there is ever a silver lining, that would be it.
Yes.
As small as it may be, it is a lining that is made of silver. It's so there's so many things here that with the executive orders that you can highlight and be like, this is really bad because X, Y, and Z. This is really bad because A, B, C. This is just all around bad because in this executive order, there already is, I think they said somewhere of like 17 million in Bitcoin that the U.S. already has that they didn't pay for. It was essentially taken and from illegal activity.
Yes, I forget what the word for that is.
Right.
There's a word.
Confiscated. Seized.
There
right.
you go.
So that they've seized and now they have 17 million in crypto already. So part of this executive order is Trump telling his financiers and government to use that crypto to raise its value. Again, it's a volatile market. It's insane to even use. It's not real money.
Yeah.
Yes, it can get you things, but whatever. Now there's a bill that was just introduced. I believe it was by a senator from South Dakota, if I'm not mistaken. I know it somewhere. Y'all can fact check me and whatever. That the goal with this executive order in combination is to eventually spend upwards of, I want to say like billions of dollars of our real tax cash to buy crypto, like hundreds of millions of dollars to buy 17 million or whatever the case is of crypto.
And his argument being, it's the same way that the U.S. government owns stocks.
Has a gold reserve, has an oil reserve. It's like, no, it's not like that at all.
A, because it's volatile.
It's unregulated.
B, it's unregulated.
Highly unregulated.
C, it's untraceable. Right. And so you're already seeing this in the way that like his new crypto czar. I was listening to a whole podcast on this. So The Daily has a great breakdown of this if you want to get into the details. But essentially, it just makes corruption so much easier to happen because you can't trace it. And it just takes a little whisper in someone's ear that then flips the market in the direction of the way that the person wants it to be flipped. And then, like somebody gets paid off and you never know.
They can, and with the U.S. agreeing to do this, it's just, they can manipulate the markets now to hurt regular people, on top of just the fact that if they lose access to it, it's just gone. Your money. And so this is your actual tax dollars going to essentially monopoly money that, yes, it has some value,
but also tomorrow it might have no value. Because that's the way it operates.
Right.
Why didn't you put this in the 15 minutes for the bullshit segment?
I just wanted to give it this quick 5. I'm so freaked out. I didn't want to deal with it.
I mean, it's part of it. It's all the bullshit. All right. Well, on that note, On to the mighty, mighty big news, and I have no idea what we are talking about. Somebody was like, you should bring back the one of us doesn't know what we're talking about segment. We don't need a segment. It often happens throughout the entire show where one of us doesn't know what we're talking about.
Facts.
So, Hooters.
You said it loud like you know what's going on.
No, I said it loud and turned in your direction. Hooters.
Hooters.
Tell me.
Let's just keep yelling Hooters at each other.
Hooters.
Yeah.
I know what Hooters is.
You know what Hooters are.
I know what Hooters are.
Yeah. Have you ever eaten at a Hooters?
Yes.
How many? Like more than once?
Maybe twice.
Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy their food?
No.
Okay.
I ate once. So my cousins used to own a bar in that little complex that's right behind the Hooters on Wurzbach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they used to own a bar back there.
Wait, with the ER bar?
No, before that.
Okay.
It was way before
I've
that.
been there,
But
yeah.
I think it's
yeah,
the same building.
Got it.
So they used to have
View?
a bar. It was called Tequila Republic.
Oh, okay. Got you.
So many, many moons ago. So the Hooters was right there.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I ate there. And then we went to the Hooters in Puerto Vallarta on a family reunion once.
Wow.
Because I don't know.
Because Hooters is...
I don't know.
So, we have somber music, right? Or somber... Hit it.
I don't know if we have somber.
Hit the womp womp.
Okay, so womp womp. Womp womp. That was preemptive womp womp. It
I know.
should happen after.
No.
Okay, go.
We got to set the mood.
Oh, okay.
Hooters is going bankrupt.
Hooters is going bankrupt. Who
And they are
knew?
closing down.
Who knew that would happen?
Well, so the reason why this is the mighty, mighty big news, it's not just because Hooters is going bankrupt, but there's a lot, it's more or less a larger conversation about American consumer habits that I want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
And this other sort of things like Red Lobster being owned by a Chinese conglomerate and this sort of late stage capitalism that is cannibalizing things that we used to love. I recently,
For those that used to love Hooters.
did you hear about San Antonio's new Apple Hop?
No.
In Seguin is America's first Applebee's IHOP.
Okay.
So I assume it's 24 hours. It better fucking be 24 hours.
Is this like the KFC Pizza Hut Long John Silver's
low key? Now that you mention it, yeah,
menage a trois?
yeah. But this is
that
just,
we see. Those
yeah.
are the three, right?
That is.
Those are the three. I've seen that where it's one restaurant with all three.
Yeah. So now Applebee's and IHOP are fucking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm not mad at it 100%. Do you like IHOP?
I haven't eaten there in
Do you like
over
pancakes?
10 years. I prefer waffles.
Okay. And where would you go get your waffles if you were a waffle? You know,
There used to be Mr. C's Chicken and Waffles
That were good.
right down the street,
Yeah.
which was great. Magnolia Pancake House.
yeah. Always welcome on the pod.
Always welcome on the pod. You want to be a sponsor?
Please and
Please.
thank you.
I mean, I'm going to shout you out, and you're not a sponsor, so you should be a sponsor.
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
So yeah, no, I haven't been to an IHOP since I was like 22.
Got it. Denny's?
I've been to Denny's,
I feel like
but we have gyms,
we do have gyms locally.
and I think we like gyms more than Denny's.
It depends on which gyms you go to on what side of town. Because like you live by the good gyms, I live by the bad gyms.
Okay.
But anywho, so one of the things I had a recent conversation with the homie Mandy Lynn,
Okay.
who wants to come on the pod, and I was like, yeah, I think we can swing that one day.
Waffle House.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Waffle
That's where I
House
get
is
my
great.
waffles.
Yeah, Waffle House is good. But you got to drive to Austin. Yeah.
For now.
We were talking because it was her daughter, the homie Danny, 16th birthday. Shout out to the home.
Shout out.
to the
Not
homie.
welcome on the
My-
pod yet.
Not yet, but you know, my BFF.
Yes.
And I would jokingly was like, hey, take her to the new Apple Hop. They didn't go. But
Okay.
what was funny was, do you remember when Applebee's mattered?
Yes, your friendly neighborhood Applebee's.
Your friendly neighborhood Applebee's.
They had karaoke on Fridays.
Their food was actually kind of
pretty
good.
Always at Applebee's over our Chili's. Always.
Yes. TGI Fridays.
Didn't have one.
But do you remember when they mattered?
Yes.
Do you remember when like Boston Market mattered?
No.
Okay. But there was a whole string of these
Macaroni Grill.
macaroni grills.
Yes.
Olive Garden mattered for a stretch.
Olive Garden still matters.
Sure.
It's my mother's go-to birthday dinner. is Olive Garden.
How many Italian restaurants do you have in Laredo?
Not many. So,
There you go. Okay.
not many.
It's like I ask my students that because I go on a rant every semester where I just bash Olive Garden for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And without fail, there'll be at least 2 or 3 students like, I love Olive Garden, sir. It's the best Italian food
It's
I've
not.
had. But then I'm like, kind of similar to the trans thing, like name me 10 female athletes. I'm just like, give me 3 other Italian restaurants you eat at. And they're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you don't, yeah.
And I think that actually proves a point. These restaurants matter in cities like Laredo,
Sure.
in cities like Del
Killeen,
Rio,
Texas.
like Killeen, where you're probably not going to get a great, Italian restaurant
Hell no.
or something like
There
that.
might
right?
be one local mom and pop.
Maybe. And it
If
might
you're
be
lucky.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. So they matter.
Yeah.
I don't think they matter in a city like San Antonio. They definitely don't matter in Houston.
Well, but see, I think this is sure. I think even Hooter, but I remember a time when like Hooters, even if you hadn't been to one, it still culturally mattered. And I'm not saying that it needs to matter now, because now I think you have other restaurants that got overtaken by like Twin Peaks. They got overtaken by Ojos Locos. There's like another one, I forget what it is, where it's just bombshells.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and these are horrible sexual harassment
Yeah.
lawsuits.
So I don't think we need them.
No. I agree. But what I'm saying is that part of what you and I have had this conversation in the past where I say there's no movie stars anymore. I think this is all connected. There is like things, capitalism has ruined so much.
They have.
That you can't go. Applebee's is trash now. Like,
yes.
you really, it's almost unedible.
But also, I can't tell you the last time I went to an Applebee's.
Sure. What I can't remember when, but I remember it was fairly recent, like within the last maybe 5 years. I might go tonight.
My point is there isn't a single thing at Applebee's or Hooters or Olive Garden or even Denny's that I can't get at a local restaurant or smaller chain, right?
You could get a smash burger that's better than an Applebee's burger.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Or I could go to Babes down the street,
Babe.
right?
Shout out to Babes. Always welcome on the pod.
Always welcome on the pod. What I'm saying is there are
I love Babes.
plenty of like local institutions.
You can get better wings at homeboy. Damn it. Wayne's Wings.
Wayne's Wings.
Always
Exactly.
welcome on the pod.
Right. So everything that these restaurants serve, I can get in San Antonio. And it's going to be way better and maybe cheaper, maybe not. So that's where I feel like the relevancy of these restaurants, they are relevant the way Dollar General is relevant.
I wouldn't go that far, but let me ride your wave for a hot sec. They're relevant the way AMC used to be relevant.
Sure.
And I think that's what I'm talking about is like, you remember when like AMCs were like, it was a big deal if an AMC opened in your city?
I lived in Laredo, so
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Again, relevant.
So
there.
relevant. Yeah, well, but you're not wrong. But I think that's where it gets fascinating to me, because I think sometimes when we talk about America and we talk about the lack of culture in America, this is what you're giving up, America. You are Applebee's. You are TGIF.
And I applaud you for giving it up.
You are. But
I applaud you for giving it up. This is mom and pop. This is local fighting back against capitalism.
No.
Yes.
Well, I see what you're saying, but I think you're always going to have mom and pops. They're never going to overtake. And I guess, okay, I don't disagree with you. What I'm saying is the corporate overlords are going to always win. And what's going to fill the void is just going to be worse. And I think because mom and pops aren't, and this is also part of the conversation too, because mom and pops are shutting down all over the city. And we're not, this is not a unique thing here. This is happening in cities like Austin. This is happening in New York, like everywhere. Just popular mom and pops just can't hold up anymore due to inflation, due to rising rent costs from these fucking asshole real estate fuckers.
And this is because of late stage capitalism.
This is all late stage cannibalistic capitalism. But I think what's fascinating to me and is kind of like as Hooters goes away, as America leaves the old world order of having allies.
As a part of your childhood dies.
I don't even want to go that far. But it's like,
it seems like you're taking this pretty hard.
well, because do you remember when Sonic Sonic burgers mattered? Because it was like, they have car hops. You don't have a drive-in.
It was cute.
Yeah, and then they
in
got
this hou-
drive-ins.
In this house, it still matters.
Yeah.
Because it's around the corner.
Yeah, it is, and that's a good one.
And
Again, you live by a good one.
Yeah, and they have...
They say poppin'. You can go there late night because all the bars are
half-price burgers on Tuesdays.
Hell yeah. The corn dogs, the 50-cent corn dog days.
I just go for the fries and the tater tots, for being honest.
For sure. You don't get a slushie or a drink?
No, not usually.
Okay.
I'm not a huge Sonic fan. My husband is.
Fair.
Huge. Dairy Queen over Sonic for me.
I agree. Yeah. But I think, Sonic has this sort of weird Cheesecake Factory element of the menu where it's like, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
It's like you're half Dairy Queen, you're half Denny's, you're half, fucking McDonald's, you're half psychotic 50s.
It's a little weird. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah. Well, it's dinner time. But I guess the reason why this is the mighty, mighty big news is because as it all to me is indicative of the leaf that is turning in a major way. And in the same conversation I had with a colleague of mine earlier, as dire as things appear to be, maybe this is our moment. And when I say that, it's like, we read the stories, we built up the heroes, we lionized the icons, and now we have to follow the examples that they laid. And we have to, it's our time to start fighting back against this shit and really start, along with, here's the other side. Just like an Apple hop can exist, let me rebrand Marxism. I hate that these arguments about capitalism immediately devolve into, well, you're just a raging Marxist, communist, blah, 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 blah. These are old, antiquated terms that don't fit anymore. So from now on, I am a burning capitalist.
Burning capitalist.
Bernie
capitalist.
Bernie
yes.
capitalist.
Let's join the lesbians and knit mittens in Vermont.
Let's do it. Let's just start rebranding. If we can have Apple Hop because Applebee's can't survive and IHOP is hanging on by a thread, our idealistic, progressive, hopeful for everyone America that we dream of, it needs to be fueled by something new. And that sort of economic policy is now burning capitalism.
Burning capitalism.
Let's improve
sounds
our
like
soup.
burning capitalism, which I'm not against.
Right.
So, okay. Yeah. I'm here for it.
because it sounds better than Bernard capitalism.
I was worried that you were going down this like Batman path of like you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain sort of deal. And I was like, oh, wait, no, he pivoted at the last.
I landed the plane, unlike the actual planes.
Stop it. I went and came back safely. Thank you. Well, goodbye, Hooters. It was nice.
Salute.
It was nice knowing
we don't
you.
have any like taps. You can't play taps.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
That was the wrong one. That was great.
Well, we're happy to be back.
Quick hit of dopamine before we go. Real quick. It is really quick. One, Gaga dropped a new album. It is officially out today. Everything that led up to this album, the music video for Disease, the music video for Abracadabra, said Mother is back. The success of Die With a Smile with Bruno Mars, that has apparently been everywhere. And I listened to the whole album, and all that being said, I'm a little underwhelmed. But it's good. It's just not, it's not what the other tracks were kind of like hinting at it was going to be.
It's fascinating because now that maybe I'm sure more people do this. Sometimes I have this problem of where I think when I do something, it's just unique. So like her new album's coming out, so I went back and I listened to old albums.
Oh yeah.
And man, like I feel like there's this weird anti-Gaga like wing of America that's happening.
Is there?
Oh yeah, and a lot of them are like Roan heads.
Oh,
and it's so fast because I feel like Chaperone just steals everything, and I'm not mad. Like, yeah, I'm just saying.
That's what we said.
Okay.
The same way that airplane pilots say things. It's like, and welcome. We're going to be your captain's first series. It's going to be it's going to be, I think Gaga has a great catalog.
Undeniable.
If we look back, like all the eras of Gaga, I loved Joanne. I loved Joanne. And I loved art pop, as weird and kooky as it was.
Art pop. I was just listening to Venus the other day on art pop.
So good.
It's great.
And so this, when
Goddess of love.
Guy, yes. Anywho, when Abracadabra dropped, I was like, okay, this is giving me Alejandro meets, Born This Way album, not Born This Way the song, but the Born This Way album with like art pop injections and a chromatica vibe. Like it was like she was taking like the best elements from her previous iterations and molding them into something and kind of like being like, this is all of me sort of deal. And then the rest of the album didn't quite deliver. I maybe need to give it a little bit more listens.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was listening to it while playing the new WWE 2K25.
Oh, yeah.
So
come on, man.
It might have been a little, I was creating my custom character. So it's not like, I wasn't, anywho. I've heard it 3 times now.
Okay, well that's enough. Yeah.
It maybe
it's a
deserves
grower,
a better,
not a shower.
Maybe deserves a better listen. But I do think that it's going to be great for us. Okay. The way Chromatica grew on me. I didn't originally.
Yeah, I liked Chromatica.
I didn't like it when it first came out, but it grew on me, and I was like, oh, okay, I can see the vibe. I can see the vibe. Also, in a quick hit of dopamine, did you hear about this?
No,
because you don't have an iPhone. There was a glitch in iMessages.
I did not know that.
Where in iMessages, if you typed out the word racist, it would autocorrect it to Trump.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to the hackers. Y'all did good work.
And Apple didn't say that it was a hack or anything. Apparently it had something to do with words that started with the letter R. Or something, but that was happening in the world where autocorrect was changing the word racist to Trump in people's messages. And you know what?
We're here for it.
That's a good note to go out on. Well, we're back, people. That concludes episode 1 of the new season of the Puro Pinche Podcast. We like to go out with a little motivational message for everybody. So as we wrap up this first week of March, it is the first week of March. Oh, wow, it is.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite landing. That hadn't materialized in my head. Motivational message for the week, Roost.
My motivational message this week is it was this kind of thought that I had where I'm asking people to look at themselves and ask if they trust themselves. And let me explain. I think it was Dom who asked me, because it's like the thing that friends and significant others do where they sometimes just ask you random shit questions and you're just kind of like, what moon phase do I think you are? Anyway,
Sure.
The question I got was, do you think I would like me if I met me?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Right. And my answer was no. And then we kind of discussed it at length, but then it made me think of something else, which is a little bit maybe deeper, which is sometimes maybe we don't act up to our best potential because that requires us essentially meeting ourselves and not trusting ourselves. And it's so maybe subconscious that we're not, that we just kind of, again, give up before we try, or just do a little bit to say that we did, but not really dive in full feet first, or, say what we want to say full throated. And I think kind of examining that, like, trust yourself. And the way you learn to trust yourself is by getting small wins. Do the small wins, do the small work until you're like, okay, I think I got this. And, don't feel like, of course, you're not going to think that you can accomplish something great right now because maybe you never have. Yeah. But it has to start.
It's okay to aim for first base and not try to hit a home run.
Yeah. Okay. So that was pretty much it.
Look at you with the sports metaphor.
That was good. And then, you kick the slam dunk.
Yes, exactly. My motivational message, I meant to actually say this during the 15 minutes of bullshit, but I guess, it was meant to be during here. With everything that's going on, everyone just needs to keep in mind that outrage fatigue is the point right now. The way that things are just being thrown at us over and over and over again, left and right, is intentional. Mm-hmm. Is a way to keep us looking at everything and missing
and nothing.
So much, and everything and nothing at the same time, right? So if you are feeling like you don't have any more rage to give because you're just outraged at everything, that's the point. They want you to be tired. They want you to be exhausted. So focus on your circle of influence, right? Because there's so much going on. We'll use the crypto example that you should be outraged about.
It's bad.
But I can't do anything about it.
We literally don't have any.
You can't do anything about it.
No.
And so I'm going to acknowledge my feeling, but I'm going to move on from it to something that I can do and something that I can influence.
Like taking care of these cute puppies.
I mean, but, saving the world. One podcast episode at a time, right? So focus on your circle of influence so that you don't drain yourself, because if you give a little bit of yourself to everything, then you don't have anything to give.
That's right.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, ladies and gentlemen.
That wraps it up for us. We are
everyone
back.
in between. Don't forget to check out the website. We do have merch. It's still up there.
Yeah.
Actually,
maybe we'll come up with some new merch.
Yeah, I think we will. Aliens were last season. They're still there right now because we haven't come up for anything, but they won't be there for long. I did have someone at the airport be like, "I love your sweater. Where'd you get it?" And I was like, "You can get it on my website." They were like, "Give me your website."
Shout out to the homie Crystal for rocking our sweater.
That's right. So
every time I wear it, people notice and say something.
So you need to get yourself one. At Gemini, at Puro Pinche Podcast, puropinchepod.com/pod, puropinchepodcast.com/pod. I don't know. Look it up. We out there.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, leave a comment, all that jazz. It helps us get the word out. If you like this show, let other people know so that other people can also find this show. Anything else?
San Antonio, go look at the 27 candidates for the mayoral race.
Ooh, they're actually holding a LGBTQ town hall.
Spoiler alert, I may try to make a town hall happen at Blah.
Hey, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Again, focus on your circle of influence and where you can have influence. So...
until next time, where can they find you, Chibbi?
They can find me on Instagram at Gemini's, GEMINEYES. That's where I hang out. Or Facebook, Threads. I'm on the Threads.
There you go.
I'm trying to post more. Put my thoughts out there.
That's good.
Little thoughts, things,
things.
do that. Where can they find you, Rooster?
You can find me on the west side of San Antonio. That's where I be. Anyway, until next time, we're happy you joined us. We're happy to be back.
I know. It's going to be good. Remember, every 2 weeks now, but subscribe so you get that notification in your inbox. You get us in your inbox. You tell the people you like us. You spread the word. You go have yourself a bologna sandwich. Not at Babes. Not at Hooters, but at Babes.
We're back, sluts.
Until next time, take care of yourselves, y'all.